Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is Amazon RDS and it is a part of our AWS Solution Architect Associate series. So let's start with the basic introduction of RDS. So before we start, just let me brief about RDS in general term that whenever we require to set up and host an application or website, database is an essential part uh, of application. So in classic way of implementation, how we perform the database setup, we set up one operating virtual machine with Windows or Linux or any other operating system, whether according to the engine of the database, whether it's a MySQL, MS SQL, Oracle. So we select the operating system and then set up engine for respective database, and then uh, after implementing the operating system, we set up the engine and then configured the parameters and the uh, whether it should be accessible from external or internal. So those things will set up on the classic way of implementation. So now we can set up a database as a platform as a service model, where we just need to subscribe the service called RDS, and we need to create a database, and then remaining thing will manage by the Amazon. So Amazon Relational Database Service is a distributed relational database service by Amazon. Many of the cloud providers they provide the database service. Amazon RDS is a service provided by the AWS. It is a web server running in the cloud, designing to simplify the setup, operation, and scaling of relational database for use in applications. So after creating the database instance, we just attach and use that connection sync in our application, and then we can use the database. Amazon Relational Database Service, some of the key feature, or we can say key highlight point, why we can choose this RDS. That first one is no infrastructure management. We didn't require to manage any infrastructure. We simply need to launch the RDS. Second, cost effective. We can manage the cost by applying some additional features or reduce the features. Application compatibility, there are numerous number of version for specific engine. If we talk about MySQL, then we have multiple MySQL version. Then if we have MS SQL, we have then Oracle, and then Postgre, etc., etc. Instant provisioning, there is no need of additional downtime, additional efforts. We simply instant provisioning the database without having much more if we provide some more time for the setup, instant, within single click we can set up the database. Scale up and scale down, simply we can increase the capacity of database, and simply if we didn't require, we can reduce it. So simply using scale up and scale down, we can manage the database scale out. Now some of the Amazon RDS engines, there are three types: commercial, open source, and cloud native. So commercial, it provides the Oracle and Microsoft SQL. Open source, we have MySQL, PostgreSQL, MariaDB. And cloud native, Amazon Aurora, it's a Amazon product which is compatible with MySQL and PostgreSQL. So these are the RDS engines. If we talk about the commercial part, Oracle is there, Microsoft SQL. Open source having MySQL, Postgre, MariaDB, and Amazon Aurora. Amazon Aurora is a product which is provided by the Amazon, and it is been integrated with, or we can say, is compatible with MySQL and PostgreSQL. Why we consider AWS RDS is a very very effective platform, because it is structured in a such a way that it have network configuration, security parameters, some of the uh, configuration where we didn't require any kind of additional parameters, or we can say additional infrastructure setup. All the things we can manage from the using RDS platform. So it is been secure by custom VPC. Here you can see manage connectivity using AWS Direct Connect, VPC, VPN, VPC, routing rules, internet gateway. And here you can see it is also being managed through the security group and custom VPC. So according to our rule, the transactions or the communications being managed from the custom VPC. Security group, we can easily manage the communications using security group rules. As we know that MySQL having the port number called 3306, and whatever the IP address required to whitelist, we need to add that particular IP address. Or else if we have application server or security group, we can directly attach that particular security group to being communicate over the port number. Some of the compliance being managed from or being identified by different storage database engine, like Aurora is having this much of compliance, MariaDB, MySQL, Oracle, Postgres, SQL Server. So we didn't think about the compliance as well. Monitoring. Whenever we set up any infrastructure, the first concern is about security and monitoring. So these are the custom metrics, or we can say the monitoring metrics, been managed through the Amazon RDS: CPU utilization, storage, memory, swap, DB connections, input output, latency, throughput, and replica, and many more. So these are the standard metrics which we can manage. Also, we do have the CloudWatch alarms if such connections has been increased or some usage in IO metrics has been increased. So those things will automatically trigger an CloudWatch alarm, and you will get the email for notification. Now we can talk about multi-AZ deployment. If you have production instance or production level of database, then you require to have multi availability zone deployment, where you have a master in one availability zone and slave in another, with having auto replications, where if some master instance got down, your request has been served from the slave. Also, it having the common name, like we have ELB, Elastic Load Balancer, where we can have standard common name. Replica types are read replica. You can have master and read replica, where you have cross region replica of database. Backup, it also provides the backup features, where you can enable the automated backup. Automated backup is having some options: schedule daily volume, archive database change logs, 35 days retentions, and taken from the standby when running with multi-AZ. And Aurora is having 3 options. So now let me navigate to the RDS console. So simply you can just run search RDS. You have the relational database service. So RDS is an example of platform as service. Simply let me click on DB instance and click on create database. So there are 2 options, standard and easy creation. Standard, it provides the like additional options like availability, security, backups, and maintenance. Whereas if you select the easy create, it provides the recommended best practices. So we here use a standard to include all the features. Now engine type. So engine type is always decided on the application platform. If the application is hosted on PHP or some open source technologies, then it required to have MySQL or MariaDB, or some of these support Postgre or else Oracle. If it is .NET based, then with it is compatible with Microsoft SQL Server, then we need to have Microsoft SQL Server. Here we do have two additional options: Aurora MySQL compatible and Aurora PostgreSQL. So if you talk about the difference between Aurora and general MySQL, then Aurora is having additional options. Also, the performance it's a performance optimized engine type, and it having the more option as compared to MySQL Community Edition. But if we talk about the charge, Aurora took additional charge for the database. Aurora PostgreSQL compatible. You can also Aurora is also compatible with PostgreSQL. So let me select MySQL. So if we select the MySQL, it having certain information regarding what are the highlight point for the SQL engine, MySQL engine. As far as edition, MySQL is having only MySQL Community Edition. It select that. If I select the Microsoft SQL, then it having the additions SQL Express, Web Standard, Enterprise, etc. And engine is having 20, 17, 14, 16 different options are there. So let me select the MySQL, the Community Edition. There are two height filters. First one is if the version is compatible with multi-easy, then it shows, and it shows the RDS optimized. But I didn't use any filter of each. Also, MySQL having 8.0.33. You can select your compatible version of MySQL. I'm going to select default one. There are three templates. Why templates are there? So if you want to use this product database in a production, then you have that much of options, or we can say the features. So for example, if you select in production, then it asks to select multi-easy deploy cluster, multi-easy DB instance, and single. There are three options: deployment and durability option, settings, and according to template, that it automatically asks to use some standard level instance configuration like 4 CPU, 16 GB RAM. Storage is having 400 GB, and standard IOPS would be 3000. So according to template, your availability and durability options would be changed. So if you select dev, then it having the single DB instance, dev and test environment. So in this example, I'm going to use free tier, and it is free to use with your free account. If you select dev, test, or production, it will additionally charge. Database one instance identifier, the name of the DB instance. Let me set test instance. The master username admin. You can also manage master credential in AWS Secret Manager, but I'm not going to use that thing. Let me check. Provide the password. It should be at least 8 character. You have additional this filters. Default, as I select the free tier, it's select 2 CPU and 1 GB RAM. Let me select now storage type. You can have storage type with 20 GB. Now there is option in storage auto scaling. So if the 20 GB is fully occupied, then what happen? Then you have option called enable storage auto scaling. So after 20 GB, you have additionally you can increase storage up to 1000 GB. So it is not something like you attach a hard disk in instance and that partition has been fully occupied. Then you need to move the database or something else. It will automatically managed. Connectivity. if you have a application server in EC2, and then you directly want to connect EC2 instance with RDS, then simply you can click on connect. When you select the instance, it will automatically create a rule in security group from our EC2 instance to RDS on port number 330X. So I don't have any EC2 instance, I'm not going to use this. IPv4, also you have options for default VPC. If you have custom, then you can. Now having option called public access. As of now, I'm going to click on yes. Why? Because I need to access that instance, that RDS, from my local laptop using public endpoint. So I'm going to use that one. But in terms of general scenarios or general application server, we didn't require to have public. You can have private IP. Always database should be on private. It is not publicly listed, or else you will find some injection attack or any malicious attack on the DB server directly. So as of now, I'm going to set up for private, for testing purpose. So I'm using public access. Security group, I'm going to use create new, let's say RDS and SG. There is no my availability zone preference, as I'm not use it. Certificate authority, I don't require any certificate authority. Password authentication, database should be accessed from password. Additional configuration, you can initialize database name like my test. Default parameter group is 8.0. Backup, you can enable the backup retention period 1 day. Okay, and backup window, when you choose the backup window, there is option like window from this days to this time period start, and the duration of the time. Like if your database ideally took 1 hour, then you took. So I'm not going to enable this. So also you can enable the encryption. I didn't require log export. If you have audit log, slow query log, and general log, you can select the types of publish on CloudWatch. So these are the logs exported to CloudWatch. Maintenance, automatically whenever this version upgraded, it will automatically version upgraded, and it asks for some downtime, and whether you want to put that maintenance video, then you can. So it seems like whenever the version upgraded, some small minor version are released, automatically your version has been upgraded. So you need to choose that particular maintenance video window for that particular maintenance. So I'm not going to use this. Also, you can have enable protection, if the database is very critical and crucial. So if some of the junior guy or the persons who don't know whether is it required or not, then we can just protect from the accident deletions. So you can click on it, and this is the estimated monthly cost. So let me create database. So it will took some time to create the database. Now there are options. There are suggested add-on feature test instance. You can create elastic cache cluster for the DB settings and proxy. As we didn't require this option, so I'm just close it. So let me pause this video for a moment, and we'll start again when this database been created successfully. So now the instance has been created. So let me click on the database identifier, and here we can see the endpoint. So endpoint is similar to the server name. We can consider the identification of the database instance. So let me copy this, and we have the Heidi SQL using that and client tool where we can use the to connect MySQL. Username is admin, password which I set. So let me try to open it. It has to save, yes. So here you can see the database setup with this test. So you can use this database instance. So let me just import one backup file, not a setting file, load a SQL query file. This is a test database. Let me just create a database called classic models. So let me just execute. So once this query created, it will create a database called classic models. So from this way you can use database. Let me just refresh. So the database with classic model has been created with this tables, customer, employees. So these are the options with the RDS. Let me just navigate to the RDS dashboard. Connectivity. Here you have the all the configuration. Whatever the change we have set up on the wizard, we can edit again those all the things: monitoring, logs, configuration, maintenance, and backup. All the thing. CloudWatch. It will took some time for to gather the default data. Like remaining thing will automatically CPU usage, CPU credit balance, and all the stuff. Will let you. Will this have the details? So from the monitoring, you have the idea on the these are the options with monitoring: logs and events, the configuration, maintenance, and tags. So these are the options where you can manage all the features. If you have any kind of maintenance and pending maintenance, you have the details over here. So yes, these are the options available with RDS. Hope you guys find the all the details with this video. So kindly subscribe the channel, and we'll continue share the new videos on the different topics. Thank you very much.